This conference will now be recorded.
So, okay. Yesterday we gone through the demo session, correct? So today we are going to talk. I'm going to start with the first session. With what is a point? We will discuss about what is a point-to-point integration, what is an ESB, and how ESB helps in the problems and solving the problems of point-to-point integration, and what is the idea behind an ESB and how it works, right? All these things we'll see, okay, in our session today, right? Okay. So purposefully, first two sessions I'm not taking full-fledgedly, okay, because people will keep on coming and going out. So that's why purposefully I kept these two sessions as theoretical sessions, right? From third session onwards, you will be getting a practical oriented sessions, right? So today and tomorrow, please bear with us. Who are already confirmed, please bear with me, okay, until the batches got finalized till the end, right? So that's the reason only half an hour to 40 minutes we will take on a first two sessions, right? From third day onwards, we'll be getting a 1 hour session, right? So how many of you are aware of web services here? Web services. Yesterday, I have given that one as one of the prerequisite. How many of you are aware of web services? Pardon? Can you please come again?
Mike, I know web service.
Web service, very good. About others, what about others? Jani, Srini?
Yeah, we have little knowledge about web services.
Basic knowledge is enough. Not required full-fledged knowledge. Basic knowledge is enough.
Transfer data between hetero and homogeneous applications.
Okay. Any other information on web service? In simple language.
The connectivity between two services, you can say.
Two services or two applications. Can we say that?
Yes. Yes.
Right. What else?
Communication between two machines.
Yeah, two applications, two machines, two services. Yes, perfect. Any other? Any other answers? Samath? Yes?
So it provides language independent communication between two parties.
Sorry, Mike, I'm not able to hear your voice clearly. Can you please be louder and clear?
It provides language independent communications between two parties.
Okay. Very hardly I'm able to hear your voice. Sorry.
Yes.
I don't know which mic. Whether it's a mic problem or a connectivity problem. I don't know.
I can hear you very clear.
So, since we have a few people who are not from IT background as well here, so let me talk about web service first. That means I will just give an outline with an use case. Very simple example. Later example you can call it as. So, in others who are going to see the recording also, if they are not having a web service, so they can connect with this example. See, we have two people. We have two people here. One person knows Spanish language and one person knows German language, right? If they want to communicate with each other, how?
Google Translator. Google Translator.
While speaking, how they can?
They need interpreter.
Yeah, what is that? Like, can we call it as a translator? Whether it's a Google translator or some translator we require. That means some mediator in between. Yes or no? Right? Is there any other idea? Translator is one. Is there any other idea?
Learning each other languages.
Okay, that's fine. Any other?
Check stock price.
Pardon?
Stock price.
Some universal language like English, common language, stock price. What is that? what is the stock price? I didn't get that one. Like Google stock. Okay, that's fine. So it's very simple. I mean, very simple, like just knowing language, universal language like English, right? I'll just give a very simple example here. The same use case apply here. We have two applications, application A and application B. If application A want to communicate with or integrate with application B to consume the services present in it, and this application is written on some Java language, and B application is written on some .NET language, some third generation language. So how? Yes, how?
By using a middleware application. Translate. By using a middleware application, translate it.
Yeah, what is it middleware?
Like an XML, which can be read by both the application, homo application, hetero applications.
Okay. What is that?
So there should be some common understanding language between these two applications.
Exactly. That means if application A want to integrate with application B, some common language in the sense how?
Like XML, JSON, etc.
That means what is XML and JSON? That means it's nothing but in web service. Web services means what? If there are two types of web services, yes or no? So
yes, REST
and REST. As you said, XML, which is the standard format for which application it is standard format XML?
So,
right. And for REST? For REST application?
That's JSON, right?
No.
Parameters.
What is it?
Parameters.
YAML file?
No.
Parameters.
Yeah.
What kind of parameters? In other words, it's a YAML file. URL, URI parameters. That is nothing but your YAML file. See, what do you mean by web service actually? First of all, as you said, it's a mediator. Mediator in the other language, it's where we can exchange the data over an internet, right? Either it could be in XML format, it could be in any other format as well, but it should be understandable by all, right? So if application A want to integrate with application B and want to consume the services present in that application B, definitely this application B should expose. What do you mean by exposing as a service? Yeah, what do you mean by exposing as a service? Describing about your application is nothing but your API. Right? Either it could be a SOAP API or it could be a REST API, right? What is the file where we can write some description of your SOAP application? What is the file? Where we
XML
file. Pardon, what is that? Perfect. WSDL file? WSDL file? What is the WSDL file? What is the full form of this WSDL file?
It talks about what are the parameters required to access the destination.
Web service data language.
Web service description language. Description means what? It will describe about your application. Description means what it contains. As someone told, it contains the if I have get all products operation, it is having a get all products request, get all products respond. Everything in WSDL file in which format?
XML format.
Is defined under which
XML
format?
XML format.
So WSDL file, you are aware of WSDL file. What is the WSDL file now? Where we can describe about the application. If the application is exposed as a REST application, that means if you want to design a REST API, so what is the file we use? Is there any standard format for REST to describe about the application? Yes. We have a WSDL for a SOAP to expose the service, but for REST, yes, just how I told. We use RAML, RESTful API Modeling Language. So we use this language to describe about the application in a, to create a REST API. Okay. And equally popular, is there any other? Is there any other we can use in order to describe about the application? What is the Swagger? Swagger also we can use, right? Mostly popular is the RAML file. In our program also we are going to use a RAML to expose our Mule application as a service. So why we want to use the Mule application as a service? First of all, what is this Mule application? Let me explain with the use case. So hope everyone understood the basic stuff of an outline of a web service here. Yes, sir.
So we use only SOAP and REST services. That's it, right?
We have only two, REST and SOAP only, web services. Okay. Okay. Now, assume that there is one application. It's an Amazon application, which contains two operations like get all products, which is having some block of a code. It will execute, it will return some value. Same time we have one more, get product by name, which will take some input argument. Accordingly, it will execute some logic and return some value, right? Now, my requirement is from the client application. Client application means what? It assumes that it is a web application. So from the client web application, I want to consume the services present in it. Assume that the implementation of this Amazon application is written by using a Java language. Okay, this client application is written by using some .NET. Now this client application want to communicate with application B. How they will communicate? How they are going to consume this service, consume this operation present in this Amazon application? How? Yes. In our use case, treat this application A and this application B. If application A want
by using the services.
Yeah. So this Amazon application should expose the services through some web service. Now assume that it is using a SOAP as a web service and it is using a protocol called HTTP. Can you please tell me SOAP is a protocol dependent or protocol independent? SOAP is a protocol.
It's a dependent.
Huh?
Dependent.
It's a dependent.
Dependent. Yeah.
Please think and tell. I'm not talking about a format. It's a protocol.
If I'm not wrong, we always give a HTTP destination address in a WSDL file as a SOAP request.
Can't we send a messaging? Through messaging can't we send? Can't we use?
Not really.
We can send the messages for a SOAP application. Only SOAP applications can be consumed by only HTTP. No, right? We can use messaging also. So the ultimate plot point is SOAP is a protocol independent, not a dependent. Okay, and this SOAP application is deployed on some server. Can you please name some server where we can deploy some applications?
WebSphere application server, JBoss, Tomcat.
WebLogic,
Tomcat can be used. Okay. Assume that this SOAP application is deployed on a Tomcat server. Whenever any SOAP application is up, one file will get generated. What is that file?
web.xml.
WSDL file, where it contains operations like get all products, get product by name, signatures. not the implementation. Signatures, port number, port name, right? What is the address of that WSDL file? All these things. So whenever we are integrating with any applications, we need to look for two things: whether it is loosely coupled or logically coupled. Okay, we need to look for these two things. Okay, so what do you mean by loose coupling? What do you mean by loose coupling? See, if the implementation is changed from some Java to some other third generation language like .NET, do I need to change the code at my client level? If the implementation changed, do I need to change the code at my client level?
No, that's a bad idea.
Then what? How? Without changing the code, how? My question is, first of all, if the third party
Your
application, if the third party application implementation is changed to some other language, based on the, I mean, first of all, we integrated. How we integrated with first time? Based on what information?
WSDL.
Yeah, based on the information present in the WSDL, we communicated first time. If the change from the Java to some other language, do I need to change the code in my client level? Not required,
No.
because it is not dependent on the implementation part. It is dependent on the values, that means the code generated in the WSDL file, right? If they change the implementation, the signatures are not going to change, right? Based on the signatures also, say signatures only, it got consumed. This is called what? These applications are loosely coupled. Yes. Then what is logical coupling? Logical coupling. First, I will tell a definition. So definition stands like this. From a client perspective, I don't want to know who is a service provider. Who is the service provider in this case?
Amazon.
No. That is an application name. SOAP is a service provider, right? So from client perspective,
Yeah.
I don't want to know who is a service provider. From the service provider perspective, I don't want to know who sent a request. That means who is a client. So if I achieve that, then is a logical coupling. So if I use a HTTP, definitely I need to know what is an endpoint. If you want to consume, definitely we need to know what is the endpoint. If you want to know endpoint, definitely you need to know what type of protocol it is using and what is the service provider as well, right? So then we cannot achieve a logical coupling. Let me improvise the scenario with the same use case. SOAP application. This time SOAP over not HTTP. We are using a messaging like JMS, Java Messaging Service. So from my client application, I want to consume the operations present in that SOAP application, right? Now, we are using a messaging, right? Whenever we give a request, one message will be created, right? What is the structure of a message? What it contains?
Header and body.
Header and a body. Now we are going to consume a SOAP application. We've wrapped up that body into some SOAP envelope. This message will be keep it into, we are using a messaging, right? So it will be keep it into some third-party message broker queue. So assume that this queue name is in queue. Okay. So we send that message into this queue. Where these queues are present, where the infrastructure is created, I'm using some third-party message broker queues. So can you please name some third-party message brokers?
MQ, IBM MQ, TIBCO.
ActiveMQ, RabbitMQ,
Active. Thank you.
AnyPoint MQ. So many are there, right? As of now, understand that we are using an ActiveMQ and we send a message into the queue. Someone will poll onto this queue and they will read this message present in that, execute some logic, and it will respond some response back. So where the response is coming back here, this response, in which queue? Did I mention anywhere that response to show, to be placed in so and so queue? No, right? So while sending this message itself, there is under header, there is one header called reply to header. Reply to, just specify the queue name. Example, I'm giving a queue name as RESPQ. But do I have any RESPQ in this to place this response? No, right? So that means while sending a request, in the response also one of the header contains RESPQ as a reply to. So if it will check, the third party message broker will check, is there any queue with that name? If it is not there, automatically it will create one queue and it will store the data present. I mean, it will store the data here. Now my client application will pour onto this queue and they will consume. From the client perspective, do I know who is the service provider here, who is reading this message and consuming that, executing that logic?
You don't know.
From the client service provider, do I know who sent the request here into this queue? Here did I achieve a logical coupling? Yes. If I achieve a logical coupling and there is one issue here, I'm using a third party message broker which is overhead to my project. I don't want to use this message broker and I want to achieve a logical coupling. How? Let me improvise this scenario. This is a SOAP application. From the client application means what type of application it is? I told
Java based.
with web application, correct? So whenever we get a request, one message will get created. I said this time instead of SOAP related message, we are going to create one plain, message format, my own message format. That means my own proprietary message format. Okay, of course, any message contains what? Header and a body. Okay, now I will keep this message instead of third-party message broker. I will keep this into the internal memory queue at a application level. So in enterprise terminology, what we can call this internal memory queues as what? Internal memory queues in enterprise terminology can be called as what?
Topic or channels.
Channel, right? Now I will configure one component which will read this plain HTTP message and it knows. See, it is contained. This component contains some logic which read this plain request and convert that plain request into what type of application we are going to consume? SOAP, right? SOAP related request. So can I call this as an adapter which contains some logic? What kind of adapter it is? It's a SOAP adapter. What it will do? It will read this plain request, convert that into a SOAP related request, and it will consume the operations present in it. Basically consume the SOAP application. If they change service provider from SOAP to REST, now do I need to change code at my client level, or else what I can do? What the change, small change I can do here? Yeah, change the adapter from SOAP adapter to REST adapter. Yes or no? Yes. So did I introduce few things here, like internal memory queue and one more component called adapter? Yes. This green color rectangular box represents some integration logic, small integration logic, how to connect with application, right?
Yeah.
So as a web developer, will you be thinking about a business logic or integration logic? How to integrate with no. As a web developer, I'm talking about, not as a mule developer or integration developer. So you are a web developer who is developing your web applications. I just shown very small, connecting to the application, small concept. If the complexity of this integration increase, will you spend more time on that or business logic as a web developer? On a business logic. So why you want to write all this integration logic? So will you think, at that point of time you will think about, is there any ready-made library which is available That means which with such kind of services will you be thinking in such a way, right? Before coming to this library, let me improvise the scenario. One more step. Let me increase the complexity of this. Either it could be a SOAP application or it could be a REST application. My requirement is from my client application, I want to consume the third-party application, either a REST or a SOAP. So first, once I get a request, that message will keep it in a queue, internal memory queue. Now my requirement is, first requirement is, whenever I'm integrating with the third-party application, once I got a request, I want to validate that request. So we can write some component called filter. What it will do, according to the configurations you configured here, it will read the incoming request, it will validate against this configuration. If at all is valid, again it will send to the next queue. That means next process. Otherwise, from here itself it will give exception. Assume that as of now it is success. Next, my next requirement is, here we are getting, assume that X as a format. I want to convert that format into Y. What is it? What type of component I can use? Transformer, which will read this X as an input. According to your configuration to convert into Y, it will convert into Y and it will keep that Y response in a queue. Now, third requirement is, I want to consume a SOAP application. So what kind of a component I need to configure here, which will read this plain Y as an input, convert into SOAP related request? What type of component it is?
SOAP adapter.
SOAP adapter. So either SOAP or a REST. To consume a SOAP application, to consume a REST application, we can change the adapter, right? So here in this web application, am I writing this integration logic? Did I increase the complexity writing some filters, transformer and SOAP adapter? Yes. Yes or no? Okay. So
Yes.
why can't we outsource this integration logic to some third-party vendors like Mule? In an organization, not only one application will be developed, many applications will be developed, right? So if I have web application 1 and web application 2, if two applications are having some integration logic in common, why can't we write somewhere and why can't we use that service for both the applications? Can I do that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let me explain with a real-time example here. Anyone watched my demo video, they might have familiar with this use case. And if you go through any videos on YouTube also, they might be giving a similar kind of an example, but not the exact one. So there is an e-commerce applications like Amazon and Flipkart and one more Tata Click. I have 3 e-commerce applications, right? So the applications are exposed through some web service like SOAP as a web service. One is REST as a web service, and assume that this one is also SOAP as a web service, right? Now the requirement is, my client name is SmartBricks, which is a comparison site. So he came to me and he asked me to develop one web application. SmartBricks web application, right? Any user open this website, and if we type for any of the product detail and if we click on a search button, first requirement is, he want to send that request concurrently to all applications. That is the first requirement. How can we achieve that? If we type for any of the iPhone product and if we click on a search button, okay, that request should go concurrently to all these applications. How a single request can be sent as a multiple request, how it can be converted first of all. So that logic we can write in some tool like this. Assume that this is a some application where it will receive. See, if you click on a search button, that request should come to this application. So what type of request it is? If it is a web application, it's a HTTP request, right? In order to listen to that HTTP request, assume that I have one component in this application. So to listen for that HTTP request, we have a HTTP listener, which will listen for that incoming request. Now, how many requests it is expecting? I mean, it is accepting into the flow into this application. How many?
3.
How many accepting into this flow?
Only one.
One.
It has to go through
One.
3.
One at a time.
One. But we have as of now one. How we can convert it into 3? So what kind of a component we can use in order to convert from 1 to 3?
SOAP adapter.
You use at your home also, which will take one signal into your home. And what are the devices you
Router.
connect it?
A router.
What is that? Very good. What is that?
Router.
Router. What is the router will do? It will take this HTTP request as an input, and it will take a copy of that request. How many copies are required? 3 copies, right? Now here I will configure what component which will make a request to the SOAP application, which will take this plain request as an input and convert into SOAP related request. What is that?
SOAP adapter.
SOAP adapter. Next, REST adapter. Next, SOAP adapter. Treat that all these are part of your router only. So what type of router it is? Scatter. In Mule we use scatter gather router. It is scattering the request to all the applications, right? And once you send a request concurrently, the first requirement is done. Second requirement is what? You want to see, once you send a request, it will execute some logic here. They will send some response back. Yes or no? My router will gather that response as well. But in which format you are going to get these responses? SOAP application will give a response in which format?
SOAP format.
XML.
SOAP format means
XML.
what? XML format, right? REST applications. Is there any standard, official standard format for REST application?
RML.
RML is to expose your application. I am asking about response type.
Response.
That is
JSON.
not XML, right?
JSON.
REST is not an XML. It can use their XML, but it is not a standard format. For SOAP, apart from XML, we cannot use any. Right? For REST, there is no standard format. But officially, 99% everyone will use JSON, which is a readable format. And here again, SOAP. What is the standard format? XML.
XML.
Assume that these 3 applications are giving the product detail in a different formats. Now he want to concatenate all these 3 responses into a single response. And that single response you want to convert into JSON format. So output of this router is what route right now? Output of this router is what?
JSON. JSON. 3 output.
3 objects, right? One is XML object, one is JSON object, and one is XML object, right? Total 3. Now what do you want? You want to concatenate all these 3 responses together. How we can convert? There is one important and very powerful tool here is what? Transformer. Okay, I'm just drawing outside that red color line. Treat that is inside only. So it is a transformer, okay, which comprises of 2 parts. That means these three hyphens are nothing but a separator between header and a body. In the header, just define which format he want to convert all the responses into a JSON. Just to specify as a JSON in the header part. And how can we concatenate all these three together? See, these three outputs from the scatter gather router will be acting as an input to the transformer. Three objects. So my transformer will take all these three objects as an input, and by using a language called data view expression language. In the data view expression language, there is a function called flatten, which will take all these three different objects as an input, and it knows how to concatenate all these three together and give a single response. Whatever the body you have written here will be converted into the format what you specified in the header. What is the format I specified? JSON. And body contains flattened value. So that means flattened value means concatenated value. That concatenated value in a JSON format will be given back to the client in the sense as of now SmartBricks. So here web developer will take care of a presentation layer, how it should be displayed on his web application. Got it? Yes or no? That means color, background color, font size. If the product details from Amazon application, what is the image to be displayed? Flipkart application, what is the image? All these things will be taken care by the web developer in the presentation layer. So here how many requests I have? Only one request from my application. That is what HTTP request. Is that HTTP request is traveling from one location to another location through some set of channels and components? Yes or no? Yes or no? If you want to travel from one location to another location, if you assume that you don't have a bus, car, or a train like that, what you will take as a transit? Bus as a transit? Yes. Here also my HTTP is traveling from one location to another location through some bus like a structure. Internally it is used bus framework. Now you know what is a bus. Then what do you mean by ESB? What is the full form of ESB?
Enterprise Service Bus.
Enterprise
Service Bus.
What do you mean by enterprise?
Business applications.
Enterprise
business application.
No, what do you mean by enterprise?
Company. Company.
Company. Simple. Enterprise means company, right? Now this orange color rectangular box, is it not a service? What I have written? Some integration service? Yes. Yes or no? Am I writing some service here? By using some bus framework, right? Now this service which is used for bus framework, can I use this service for different applications at an organization level? If they're having the same kind of integration logic requirement. See, in a company, we have many applications, but for all applications, we require some components in common like transaction, security, pooling, remoting, etc., etc., etc. Right? So, any service which is having such kind of common logic and can be used at an organization level for different applications, can I call that as an ESB? At an enterprise level, the service which is created by using a bus framework is used for different applications. Can I call that service as an enterprise service bus?
Yes.
Yes. No. Yes. Any bus which provides declarative security, declarative transaction, pooling, and all, such bus is called an ESB. Can you please name some ESBs in the market?
Web method.
Huh?
Typical web method.
Web method?
IAB, Oracle ESB.
Mule ESB is one.
Oracle
Yes.
ESB.
Oracle ESB, okay.
think IIB.
But I think Oracle Fusion is it, right? I think it is a fusion. Okay. Dell Boomi, Apache Camel, MuleSoft. What else?
IIB, IBM.
IBM integration, Sterling integration is one, right? TIPCO. So there are many market players we have in a, in the market, right? But why Mule? Mule is one of the ESB, but Mule is much more than that. We will discuss what are Mule features further. Okay, we will discuss in our tomorrow session.
Sujit, actually, I stuck up in loose coupling and logical coupling.
Okay.
I didn't get that.
Okay. How many? Anyone gone through? Have anyone understood what is the loose coupling? Can anyone explain that? Why? First of all, why I explained about the loose coupling and logical coupling? To get you to this point where we write integration logic. There I talk about a logical coupling. What is the loose coupling here? Loose coupling here. Which point you didn't understood? I think is it Chandrasekhar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which point?
different. Like where exactly we use loose coupling and where exactly we use logical
No,
coupling.
we are not using that. It's a concept. It's not like where we use. It's not like that. It's a concept.
Also, I didn't get that. Like, what exactly is loose and what exactly is logical?
From this use case, what you understood, so that I can point out there. No one understood.
The client
See,
and service provider.
This is my client application. Is a third-party application. If I want to consume this third-party application, how we can consume? First of all,
To web service.
I want the answers from the person who asked the question. Anyone. For that matter. So that I can point out that clear way.
With the help of WSDL, we can connect to third party.
That means a web service, but through some web service. Yes or no? Right? Assume that the third-party application is using a SOAP as a web service. So WSDL is the file which describes about the application, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Based on that WSDL, where the logic present in that, we are going to consume that. Yes. Now, what that WSDL contains? Only the signatures of the methods. Based on that only we communicating with the third-party application. So here this application is getting coupled with this application, the third-party application, and while it is coupling, the third-party application implementation is changed from Java to .NET. Java to .NET. This coupling is changed, should be changed. That means the logic present in this client application, should I change?
No, because you are just exposing the.
That is called loose coupling.
Okay.
Okay, these applications are loosely coupled with each other.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more point is WSDL will be generated at the Amazon level and they will send it to the clients, right?
API. It's nothing but an API.
Okay.
To communicate with any application, that application should expose as an API.
Yeah, so this is exposed by the Amazon, right?
That
so
third
that I have
application.
But the client has to maintain that WSDL file with the required, to have the destination details.
Correct.
So this WSDL has to be, the client has to get from the third-party application like Amazon, right?
That is the contract. That is the contract they need to establish between them.
Okay.
API is nothing but a contract between the client and the developer. That means the API. So, and can we call this as a design specification? Many things we can call that as. Okay. Going forward, you will understand more about this. Got it?
Yeah.
Any questions here? I can see new participant Vishnu. Vishnu, are you there from starting? Now I'm saying you. Okay. So we'll discuss about what is an orchestration, what is a mule, and what is the architecture of any point platform for mule. Tomorrow's is a very
Now
interesting session.
Please, I got loose couple. What about the logical couple?
Please, okay.
Sujit, by the way, logical couple, tightly coupled, both are same, right?
Yes. So what is a logical coupling? Anyone who understood? Oh, no one.
It's not about that.
Okay, I will give an option to you. I'm sharing the recording with you, right? I'm sharing a recording with you, right? Please go through the recording and please understand, and you only tell me what is a logical coupling by tomorrow. Okay? Will you do that?
Okay.
Again, I need to repeat entire session if you want to make you to understand that.
It's okay. We'll go through that one. If you have any doubts, anyway, tomorrow we'll ask again.
Yes.
Papa, Chandran could be.
First of all, and you need to understand why I'm making you to understand about loose coupling and logical coupling, where I am ending up that point. Okay, that is also very important.
Yeah, like to understand about the ESBs, we are understanding this part. I mean, we are going through.
To understand about an ESB, how integration logic is making complex to write at an application level. That means web application level. Right? You need to understand this small point here. Okay, then it will be very easy.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we meet tomorrow?
No problem.
Yeah.
So